I recognize the member for Scarborough Agincourt.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for all my colleagues for their support, for standing up, and in solidarity with the Armenian people in Ontario, Canada, all over the world. The Armenian people are going through very difficult times. We are living 1915 all over again. My grandfather was a survivor of the first genocide. He lost 6 brothers and sisters and 40 immediate family members. Today, Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenians are going through the same experience, the same suffering. A year ago, I was in Nagorno-Karabakh, which Armenians call Artsakh. I traveled with a Canadian delegation, elected officials from Ontario and Quebec, to participate in a peace and dialogue conference organized by the Foreign Ministry of Nagorno-Karabakh. Their intention was to bring to the attention of the world that the people of Nagorno-Karabakh are yearning for peace. They want to live in peace on their ancestral homeland, where the principle of democracy, civil rights, and rule of law are cherished. Today, when I look at the pictures that I took that day, during the 3 days trip that I have went over, my heart bleeds. My heart bleeds that beautiful city is completely destroyed. My colleagues more eloquently expressed or depicted what happened. And today, once again, the Azeri and the Turkish forces responded with brutal attack. They responded with a military force that unmatched. Today, military experts are saying we are witnessing the first drone war in the world. The amount of drones that the Azeris and the Turkish forces are using, it is unparalleled in the history. On one side, you have 2 major forces using 21st century weapons, and on the other hand, you have a peaceful residents trying to protect their homeland with, I would say, 19th century equipments. The Azeri and the Turkish forces, they used F-16, they used drones, cluster bombs, Smerch-M heavy multiple rocket launchers, LoRa ballistic missiles, and Haruk kamikaze drones. They bombarded the schools, hospitals, cultural centers, and one of the cultural centers they bombarded, and I already posted comparison between a year ago and today on my Facebook. I was in that hall, attending that conference, in the same hall, which is completely destroyed now. So it doesn't stop there, Mr. Speaker. Today, Turkey is sending, according to independent sources, between 3,000 to 4,000 Syrian mercenaries and Libyan mercenaries. They are paying them $1,500 a month to go and fight and terrorize innocent population. It's not only that. Sometimes we Canadians here, we are living in such a great country that we keep saying why we should be bothered with conflicts overseas. Regardless of it is overseas, thousands of miles away, or here, it is all the same. Because today, the Turkish army is using, and the Azeri army is using, Bayraktar TB2 drones, which are supplied with Canadian technology. Canadian manufactured acquisition sensors that are bombarding indiscriminately the Armenians. I'm afraid that if we do not stand up and condemn this act and stop the supply of military equipment to Turkey permanently, Canada might be drawn to the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity and war crimes, because we will be considered by the international community as accomplices to war crimes. Just to quote one of the most experts on the region, Thomas de Waal, stated, "Armenia lacks incentives to launch military action now. Azerbaijan moved in first." He added, "For various reasons, Azerbaijan calculated that military action will win it something." This is a quote from expert. Large number of members of the International Association of Genocidal Scholars issued a statement recently, and they say, direct Turkish involvement in the decades-long conflict is thus no longer a threat that Armenians in Artsakh, Armenia, and Turkey have had to fear, but a fact that threatens to annihilate Armenians in Artsakh and beyond. A recent statement issued by the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan read that they, Turkey, were going to, quotation, they are quoting the Turkish President, to continue to fulfill the mission of their grandfathers, which was carried out a century ago in the Caucasus. This constitutes a direct threat of continuing the Armenian genocide that began in 1915. The President further stated that Turkey is ready to once more give a lesson to Armenians, and that the deportation of Armenians in 1915 was the most appropriate decision at the time. These are direct quotes. Mr. Speaker, many Canadian intellectuals also signed a letter to the Prime Minister asking him to condemn the Turkish action and condemning the Turkish-Azeri alliance. Among the signatories of this statement was Margaret Atwood, Robert Lantosh, Deepa Mehta, Sarah Polley, Dr. William Shabas, international law expert, Andrew Coyne, Michael Dana, and many others. Mr. Speaker, I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister recently, and I brought to his attention the fact of the International Criminal Court. I also stated that Canada should take a resolute stand. First of all, Turkey should be expelled from NATO. Turkey should be expelled from the G20 forum. President Erdogan and Aliyev should be brought to the International Criminal Court for justice. And also I mentioned to him that if we do not act resolutely, and if we do not stop this appeasement policy towards Turkey, Turkey is becoming a menace to the world peace. My colleague already mentioned Greece, Cyprus are being threatened. Now, it is not only Greece and Cyprus. Libya, Syria, Bulgaria, Somalia, Sudan, Eritrea, all these countries, he is becoming a world threat. He is using mercenaries to destabilize countries. This cannot be tolerated. Otherwise, if we continue with this appeasement policy, we are doomed to repeat Prime Minister Chamberlain's grave mistake on the eve of the Second World War. His appeasement policy towards the Third Reich was disaster, not only for Europe, but for the entire world. Do we want to be accomplice and enabler for destabilization of the world peace? I don't think Canadians are willing to be part of that legacy. Therefore, it is our duty to uphold our forefathers' legacy who fought for peace, democracy, and Canadian values in so many wars around the world. And we are not allowed to tarnish that legacy which we enjoy here in Canada today. As a peace-loving country, as the best country in the world where persecuted people from all over the world, they come to live, raise family, work, and live peacefully with their neighbors. We want peace. Canadians want peace, Armenians want peace. And it is time to stop this dictatorial charade. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Once again, thank you for all my colleagues for your support and solidarity.
Thank you very much. Further debate?